Welcome back to the Saturday Show. I'm Cody Goggin, and we have a great lineup of subject matter today. We're talking about one of my favorite films of all time, and an album that is often overlooked, but is hugely creative and a lot of fun. Today's movie is Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th was directed by Sean Cunningham, who was hot off of his collaboration with Wes Craven on The Last House on the Left. After seeing John Carpenter's Halloween, Cunningham ran an advertisement for an idea that he had called Friday the 13th. But Sean Cunningham did not have a story. For that, he would need Victor Miller. Miller would pen the script and many of the ideas that we now associate with the Friday the 13th franchise. Being shot on a very low budget, the film didn't feature big Hollywood stars, but it did feature an actor that became a big Hollywood star, Kevin Bacon. The special effects of the film were handled by legendary artist Tom Savini. Savini would devise and bring to the screen many of the film's creative death scenes, based upon things that he had seen during his military service. Adrienne King would star as Alice, the film's final girl, or Scream Queen. Longtime actress Betsy Palmer would also star in the film as mysterious and vengeful Pamela Voorhees. The role was originally offered to Estelle Parsons, but she refused to play the part. Betsy Palmer took the job because she needed to pay for a new car. Harry Manfredini would compose the music for Friday the 13th and created the chilling and iconic that is a sound effect that is now associated with the character of Jason Voorhees. The film differentiated itself from Halloween by never letting you know who the killer is until the final act of the story. Using first-person shots and darkness, the mystery is held until the very end, and then finally it's revealed who the killer is at Camp Crystal Lake. Friday the 13th was the first independent film of its kind to secure a distribution deal with a major studio. It would head to Paramount under the leadership of Frank Mancuso Sr. When released, it was derided for relying on graphic violence as a selling point. But the movie-going audiences arrived in droves, and the low-budget independent film went on to make millions. Some critics did come to praise the film's cinematography and fine performances. Friday the 13th's final scene would be one that shocked and delighted audiences just before sending them back out of the theater. And it is because of this last scene that a young Jason emerges from the water and goes on to head the franchise in its sequels. In the sequels, Jason would take the role of the killer and slowly become the hockey mask-wearing slasher we all know. Director Sean Cunningham and Victor Miller would face each other in a court battle over the rights to Friday the 13th in the late 2000s that lasted over a decade. With Miller having invented the many plot points and character names, and Cunningham having invented the title and carried on into the hockey mask sequels, it's been a dirty war to decide who rightfully owns the original Friday the 13th, and due to this, as of 2021, there has not been a new entry into the series since 2009. But during that court battle, an interesting thing has happened. Fans and members of the original crew and cast of Friday the 13th have come together to create fan films. Movies such as Never Hike Alone and Jason Rising, giving fans what they crave while we wait for a new Friday film from a major studio. The movie has been followed with numerous sequels, a television series, video games, and much more. It stands as an iconic piece of horror history and is still cherished across the world. I hope you enjoyed that look at Friday the 13th, and if you haven't seen it, I insist you watch it. You'll be seeing figures in the dark long afterwards. It's another one of the movies that made me want to be a filmmaker, and it's been a favorite since I was just a young kid. Next up, we have our album of the week, so don't go anywhere. All right, everybody. Our album of the week this week is Days of Future Past. And no, not the X-Men movie, the album by the Moody Blues from 1967. The Moodies had been around for a few years and had a modest couple of hits with original frontman Denny Laine. But the group had fallen on hard times and acquired a new singer, Justin Hayward. Keyboarder Mike Pender had recently acquired a Mellotron and written a song or two that developed into the concept of an album that moved from song 1 being about the morning of a new day and the final song being about the closing of night. The metaphors would abound, and when recorded, the album would be filled with psychedelic rock and ballads combined with interludes of classical music and poetry. This album is often heralded as one of the first examples of prog rock and a concept album. But it is often overlooked in favor of the Beach Boys' Pet Sounds or the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper. But it's filled with classic songs such as Tuesday Afternoon, Dawn is a Feeling, and of course, Nights in White Satin. It's largely thanks to Nights in White Satin that when the album was released by Durham Records, it climbed to number 2 on the Billboard charts. This album is a journey, and I know the first time I heard it, I had headphones on, and I think it's meant to be listened to in an intimate setting like that, all the way through from start to finish. If you have the record itself, it features amazing and wonderful 1960s artwork that gives you something new every time you examine it. I cannot recommend it enough, and it instantly made me a fan of the Moody Blues and their music. Next up is a performance of an original song, and I hope you'll stick around. Thanks for watching the Saturday show, and if you enjoyed it, please hit like, press subscribe, tap the notification bell, and leave us a comment. What do you think about Days of Future Past? And what do you think about Friday the 13th? Let us know. We appreciate you very much, and thanks for watching.
It's just like you, baby. Leave me for a good time. It's just like you, baby. Leave me for a good time. Now there's nothing's gonna change my mind. When it comes to pleasing you, I've paid my time. It's just like you, baby. Leave me at the bottom. It's just like you, baby. Leave me down and hollering that there's nothing's gonna change my mind. When it comes to pleasing you, I've paid my time. It's just like you, baby. Start a fire and leave it burning. It's just like you, baby. Start a fire and leave it burning. There's nothing's gonna change my mind. When it comes to pleasing you, I've paid